part of the Society of Decision Professionals is the Hero Awards. And I'd like Jay Anderson, who is going to present the different Hero Awards for us this year. Thank you, Jay. So Jay Anderson is a fellow and two-time board member of the Society of Decision Professionals. He retired as Senior Research Fellow from Eli Lilly in 2017, following a 28-year career. While at Lilly, Jay was an internal consultant to senior management on decision analysis and decision quality processes. He was instrumental in the design and application of the R&D portfolio process and was a portfolio consultant for senior management for most of his tenure at the company. Over the years, Jay has stayed active in supporting the Cross-Industry Decision Analysis Affinity Group, which is the group that birthed the Society of Decision Professionals, and has served as the cornerstone, as the conference program chair on 5 separate occasions, so 5 of these. And we're on our 29th, is that right, Jay? And Jay went to the first one. All righty. Jake, please come up.
Thank you, Ellen. Good afternoon, everyone. Every year, SDP recognizes great achievements under 3 awards: the Recruiter Award, the Volunteer Award, and the Pioneer Award. It's my pleasure to introduce the winners for 2023, starting with the Recruiter Award. This award honors accomplishments in expanding the base of SDP membership and sponsor organizations. A broader membership base and a strong society is a foundational contributor to our mission of advancing decision quality in a broad range of organizations in the profit, nonprofit, and public sectors, and advancing the profession of decision analysis to meet the challenges of organizations, societies, and mankind. This year, we're pleased to announce that there are 2 winners. The first winner of the 2023 Recruiter Award goes to Victoria Hemming. Victoria is a postdoctoral fellow at the Martin Conservation Decision Lab at the University of British Columbia. She has been active in growing the participation of conservation science decision practitioners in academia and professional practice. During her tenure as SDP's Vancouver chapter president, average participation in monthly meetings almost doubled. Victoria engages researchers and graduate students in monthly chapter meetings with diverse topics, such as Indigenous perspectives on decision-making, as well as more advanced topics. She's also one of the organizers of CEDAR, the Canadian Eco-Enviro Decision Analysis and Risk Group. Congratulations, Victoria. I'd like to play Victoria's video now.
Thanks, Jay, and thanks SDP for this award. I'm really sorry that I'm not there in person. It's been an absolute delight to be a member of SDP and the Vancouver chapter for decision analysis. I moved to Canada in 2019, and I was absolutely delighted to find a chapter here where we could just talk about decisions and risk and uncertainty and all of those good things. I took on the presidency in 2021, and our membership grew and diversified, which was terrific. I don't think I could take full credit though. The Vancouver chapter was already beginning to gain momentum thanks to those who set it up. And I was supported by Chad, Lyle, and Andrew, who took on the roles of Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer, as well as a large working group. And together we brainstormed ideas and invited speakers to attend our meetings. We had aims of upskilling ourselves, for example, how to facilitate groups remotely, extending and diversifying our knowledge to other ways of thinking about decisions, and new case studies in new areas that we perhaps were less familiar with. Our meetings actually transitioned to be online like most people, and this gave us an opportunity to diversify the topics we covered, the speakers we invited, and made our chapter accessible to anyone who wanted to join. Each year we try to rotate the presidency, which helps to bring new ideas and perspectives to the meetings. So I'm absolutely delighted to receive this award, and For those of you who don't have a chapter that you can attend, feel free to come and join the Vancouver chapter. We've got some exciting topics happening. I hope you all have a wonderful conference, and I'm really thrilled to receive this award. Thank you.
Thanks, Victoria. Now it is my pleasure to announce our second winner of the 2023 Recruiter Award, and that is Trygve Boten and his Norway conference team. Their outstanding effort and impact during the planning and execution of the DQ Norway conference last September also deserves recognition. Trygve, as the committee chair and member of the Logistics and Marketing Group, led the effort and was the driving force to hold this event in Norway. Trygve coordinated with many stakeholders across Europe, including the EDPN, created a legal entity to be able to host the event in Norway, and negotiated the hotel agreement. The DQ Norway was a successful event and helped to promote decision quality in Europe. This will likely result with the formation of an SDP chapter in Norway. Congratulations to Trygve and his team, and could I have Trygve's video, please?
Thank you, Jay. Unfortunately, I can't be there in person with all of you today, but I'm very grateful for this award and for being nominated alongside other contributors that dedicate time and effort to grow our discipline. When that being said, this award is indeed a product of not only me, but a group of dedicated individuals that spent a lot of time and effort in planning and executing the 4th DQ conference here in Europe. Not only that, we were fortunate to secure high-quality speakers and workshop hosts that also contributed and that turned this conference into a success. So this is an award for the organizing committee and all the other individuals that contribute to bring decision science and decision quality to new regions, new organizations, and institutions. So now, more than 6 months after this conference, we still receive calls and requests for people that want to sign up for the next conference here in Europe. So the interest is still here, and it's up to us now to grab the opportunity and expand our network and community. So thank you again for this award. I wish you all a great conference, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.
Thanks, Trygve. Next, we move on to the SDP Volunteer Award. A few words about this award. Every year, many SDP members dedicate their time, effort, and skills in support of a wide range of nonprofit and societal causes, including that of our society. They utilize their decision support talent to advance a broad range of worthy missions. Such dedication is acknowledged in this volunteer award, which honors selfless, sincere, and durable contributions to SDP or to advancing societal progress through decision quality in civic, governmental, and nonprofit domains. This year, the winner of the 2023 Volunteer Award goes to Matt Gorman. Matt has a long history of volunteering with SDP, starting with his involvement in the organizing committee for the Shared Decision-Making Summit in 2017 and 18. In addition, Matt has served as chair of the Membership Council and was co-editor of the SDP newsletter until mid-2019. As the Membership Council chair, Matt has revitalized the SDP mentoring program and organized a successful fireside chat with leaders in organizational decision quality. Throughout his time volunteering with SDP, Matt has consistently been a valuable resource on the councils, committees, and the board, and has played a key member in conflict resolution. I guess that means the board needs conflict resolution. Congratulations, Matt, and could we have Matt's video, please?
Hey, thank you, Jay, and thank you to everyone on the awards committee. I am honored and humbled to be the recipient of the 2023 SDP Volunteer Award. I'm also very thrilled to see that for the first time in nearly 4 years, we're hosting an SDP conference in person. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend myself, and I really wish I was there to see all of you again. My time with SDP began about 7 or 8 years ago when I was invited by my employer at the time, who is a past SDP president, Jack Clover, to work with Steve Tanney, who is our current SDP treasurer, to co-edit the newly launched SDP newsletter. At the time, it was more of a pilot idea. We were going to try it for a year or so and see how it would go, and it didn't really have a home anywhere in SDP. It was just Steve and I working on this. But it definitely got legs, got a lot of good feedback, engagement, readership, a lot of contributors, and we found a home for it in the Membership and Communication Council, which at the time was chaired by Dan Hudson. Dan Hudson has since left to tend to other responsibilities, and I was invited to take over as chair. And since then also, Steve and I have stepped away as editors, and now we have an editing team of about 5 or 6 people strong to bring you, the SDP members, the news of the society and the world of decision-making, the profession of decision-making, to you on a quarterly basis. I've also been a member of the SDP board for the past few years as well. And it is the passion and the dedication of those on the board and in the Membership and Communication Council that invigorates me and makes volunteering my time fun and worthwhile. So once again, thank you, Jay, and thank you to all my colleagues in SDP for your energy and inspiration.
Congratulations, Matt. I know what you're probably thinking. Are any of these folks going to be here in person? Well, we've got a surprise for you. Last but not least, the SDP Pioneer Award. This is the most prestigious of the SDP Awards and is reserved to those who have made indelible contributions over an extended period of time that help the profession of decision analysis take root, develop its core practices, and extend its utility into new areas. Winners of this award are truly pioneers of the practice of decision analysis and blaze trails that thousands have followed. It's my pleasure to announce that the 2023 SDP Pioneer Award goes to Larry Neal, Frank Cook, and Brian Putt. Unfortunately, Larry couldn't be here today. He's unfortunately under the weather. He was planning on being here and got sick at the last minute. So I'm just going to say a few words, and then I'll turn it over to our awardees. Many of you know who've been in our profession for a while, in the late 1980s and early 1990s, we saw an increase in the number of embedded internal decision analysis consulting groups in companies across many industries. Some programs were more successful than others, but one group, the group at Chevron, clearly stood out like a beacon on a hill. Larry, Frank, and Brian were instrumental in setting up and sustaining this effort over the years. Their efforts were a clear example of excellence and what was possible to other internal DA groups. We listened to them at conferences, we learned from their experiences, they were willing to tell us how they made it happen. Ultimately, this led to Chevron being awarded the very first Rafa Howard Award. And now, since retirement from Chevron, life goes on, but all three have continued to be active in DA in their own ways, in their communities, and at the highest levels of our society. Congratulations, guys, and I'm going to turn the podium over to Brian. Thank you. Green goes forward.
Well, I want to thank everybody. This is quite an honor. And I was very surprised. You know, I cry easily. So, if I get a little bit choked up, please excuse me. But it is quite an honor. And I think it's representative of all the people at Chevron, of which there are many out there, that have contributed to what we have done. I've always considered myself a teacher. And as such, I feel the need to teach something here in my, quote, 3 minutes, if that's possible. So, see, where are we here? I guess we got to go one more. Yeah, there we go. So one thing I want to say here is it takes a long time to develop this DA practice. You can see here a headline here dated 1992, okay? Larry Neal was very instrumental in teaching those 1,500 people along with SDG. I'll give them a plug here. But then it took till, I'm going to say 2003 before it really started to take off. So it's like 12 years maybe from 1990 when the training started until 2002 or 3. So it takes a long time. So don't expect to get this thing done in 1 or 2 years, even if you've got the support of the top down, because you've got to get the middle management, project managers, everybody involved to really have a DQ process. Okay. Oh, I got to do that. Excuse me. Okay. So if you're going to have a DQ process, you've got to have some training. And we developed internal training classes. They didn't happen all at once, believe me. Happened over a period of time. And it evolved. We had all these different people teaching classes. And from that, they learned to decision analysis better. So that's the way to improve your DQ process. Now, this is where there's some conflict. It's very difficult. But I truly believe that the DAs, those people who do the facilitation, need to be down in the business units, not at some central location, a center of excellence. They need to be down in the business units. And this is what I'm showing here on this graphic, where we had those centers of excellence. And there's some people here that are actually going down to, there's one lady that I remember bringing to my DA. I just saw her here. And she's going down to Nigeria here. She thinks in June or July. We'll see how long it takes to get that visa to get in there. Anyway. And Nigeria, is that what I said? Yeah. Okay. And then, if you want the people to stay, and we have some really long-term DA people, you need to give them a career path. And these people don't come out of the PhD programs. They normally come from our petroleum, our finance, all kinds of internal people. And that's great because they come in with some expertise. They have, the people that they're working with, they have some credibility with them, okay? So that's really important. So they need a career path for DAs to come in, out, and up. And we've got some people coming up in our very senior management that started off as young DAs, okay? One of which I think could be CEO at some point in time. Anyway, one more time, okay. So we're going to show a scroll of names of some of the people. There's quite a few, but I'm going to apologize now if we've left some people off. It was really difficult, you know, given the retirement ages of Frank and I, to come together with all these names. So I apologize now. So once again, I want to thank everybody for this great honor. I will cherish it forever. Thank you.
Larry, as I mentioned, can't be here today, but he had some prepared remarks, and he's asked me to deliver those remarks to you. I only hope I can do them justice. So, yeah, I will. There we go. Oh, this is the scroll here. I'm supposed to read this, right? No. So these are Larry's prepared remarks. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for recognizing our work. As this scroll of name illustrates, it was a village that raised this child, and we just so happen to be the faces of it. At times like this, one feels compelled to offer a few things learned along the way that may be useful to those honoring you. I made a quick list of things and checked it against the conference agenda, but you already had those things covered, so I went a bit deeper and came up with 3 comments I would like to share. First, I would like to mention the concept of culture and its close cousin, ethics. I was lucky to work in an international situation where I experienced cultures from around the globe from the start. My learnings in that realm probably had much to do with my success, such as it was. I quickly learned that culture and ethics were not necessarily ours to change. There is no single global standard to define either concept, and the ones we happen to carry with us may or may not align with the environment we are working in. The solution that got me through the day many times was to approach the implementation of decision quality by amending the culture I was working with. I chose the word append to allow delineating when one was operating within the base culture from operating within the decision quality culture. I found that providing a clear demarcation allowed clients to step outside one culture into the other and back again. By contrasting the 2 situations, the clients were often able to develop strategies consistent or at least amenable to both cultures without serious conflict. Second, I wanted to note the observation that I probably don't know half of you, and that makes me very happy. Back when I was an SDP officer, I became very concerned about the demographics of our profession. At that time, we were very narrowly focused business and industry-wise, and everyone pretty much knew everyone. Today, that has all changed, and it gives me great hope that you will take our profession well beyond what we ever imagined it could be more than a quarter of a century ago. And lastly, I would like to mention the role of technology and data in our work. Occam's razor is a very handy principle here. In a sense, starting when we did with floppy drives and 1 meg limits to our model, we had to be very judicious in our work. I'm sure we fell below the computational irreducibility limits on some of the larger problems now and again, but it forced us to understand the minutiae of the situation and to adapt to it. Later on, we built some pretty complex models, and I believe we began losing clarity to our penchant for that complexity, masked, I think, as accuracy. Today, I see many situations where global scale models, big data, and artificial intelligence are promoted as alternatives to what I consider thoughtful and critical thinking. I urge you to consciously strive to match the tool complexity to the opportunity rather than the reverse. Your current opportunity just may require those things I caution about. Just don't default to the assumption up front that they do. It's an awful lot of fun to do those sorts of things, but don't lean toward the complex when something simple will suffice. In closing, thank you again for your kind recognition, and I apologize for my absence today. All my best to you, your families, and our collective futures. Now I'll turn it over to Frank.
All right. So here I am. I'm finally getting up to speak at these. I used to speak at these far too often, but we'll give it a shot. I'll try not to go over my time. I was told Ellen would yank me off here with a big hook, and I'm actually hoping that happens. The fact that our names are on the same list as Ron Howard, Howard Rafa, Ralph Keeney, Carl Spetzler, Jim Matheson, Larry Phillips, and the guy who taught my first decision analysis class and as a result derailed my geology career, Bruce Judd. It's just enough. I just said thank you, sit down, and hope that I just don't wake up in a few minutes and discover that this was all just a dream and it's still Thursday morning. Brian and Larry passed along a few of his thoughts, and I'll sort of add in my 2 cents here. And that is that when I think back about everything I've learned about DA, what I discovered is that the most important part of it all is the decision conversation. It's the foundation of great decision making. Informed dialogue, talking about the right stuff is critical. I mean, at Chevron, we started, it was just all about calculations and models and all arithmetic. But we started to learn you had to actually talk about the right stuff to get ahead. And Ron Howard's phrase that I'm sure all of you have heard is, it's a conversation to reach clarity of action. And that to me is the simplest and most profound definition of how to achieve great decisions and high decision quality. It's as simple as that, but it's really hard to get people to do. And critical to that conversation, I find, are two things. The first is learning how to say, I don't know, without sounding stupid, just curious. Right? We deal with uncertainty, but there's this horrible thing about a false confidence that makes a lot of decisions. And I don't know is actually the correct answer to most questions about the future. And we're scared to death to say it because when we were all back in high school, they said that's a dumb thing to say, don't ever say it. The other thing we learned was that learning how to disagree was critical. Disagreement is at the heart of good decision making. You've got to learn how to look at different perspectives, surface and explore other ideas, other perspectives without getting fired, and try to draw them out. Ask people, disagree with me. What am I missing? And don't get so self-centered on this. So if you really want to be a successful DA practitioner, simply say, I don't know, and disagree with everybody. It worked for me. So I did it. Now, this is probably the last time I'm ever going to stand up in front of this group, a group I love, admire, and been around for a long time. And this is the most important thing I've learned, not just in DA, but in my whole life. Only one thing really matters, and that is to be mindful of your wake. Okay, like think of a speedboat going through a harbor, blasting through a harbor, swamping all the boats. Don't do that. Be mindful of your wake. That's what's left behind after you are gone. And make sure that's a good wake. Whatever you do in your career, your engagements, your life, always leave a good wake. Leave a wake that makes things better because you passed through. Better because of you, not despite you. Consulting agreements, wherever you are, leave a good wake. Then you'll have created value and goodness. Now, I'm here today because I live in the wake of a lot of great leaders, and you saw a lot of those names up there, senior executives, peers, wonderful people. I want to cite three other people who were all in their wake. As you saw from the signs before, 29 years ago, three dudes, I don't know how many of you remember and know them. I know Jay does, as David Skinner, Tom Spradlin, and John Palmer. They founded DAG. They started the first meeting in Indianapolis. Jay was there. We can't get rid of Jay. He's always there. But they started this, and we live in their wake that's been going for 29 years, and it keeps going. So I hope my wake benefits others as well as theirs have, and we all keep our collective wakes going and just improve everything that we've encountered and done. Thanks so much for the honor. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Steve.